Hello, everyone. I hope you guys are doing well. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you guys are listening to me from. I'm going to give you guys some time to come in. Hello, everyone. Good afternoon, good evening. Please hit that like button as you guys come in. Please hit that like button as you guys come in. I want to talk about a few different things that I have been seeing on the internet. Um, let's start with Miss Cynthia Bailey, honey. So, word on the streets is that Cynthia is not coming back for the new season of Real Housewives of Atlanta. That is what the speculation is. Um, are we surprised? Are you guys surprised? Let me know if you're surprised. I personally, I'm not surprised. I feel like even though I will say that I did like Cynthia Bailey on the show this season, I also understand people that may want someone who would stir ish up a little bit more. Cynthia is just not that girl that is likely to be on the show stirring ish up in that way. So I will say, like, I'm personally not surprised. I won't be surprised if she does not come back. Although, as much as I do like Cynthia on the show and I do like how she was a friend of the show, but in all honesty, she is probably not going to stir up Ish the way Sheree is going to stir up Ish if Sheree is a friend of the show. Now, I'm gonna say everything is alleged, but allegedly, I have been seeing some talks or some. Let me just say news, about the fact that allegedly, sorry guys, bro, sorry, I've been seeing some stuff that allegedly, Kim Zodiac is coming on Real Housewives of Atlanta. And also allegedly, we already talked about potentially K Michelle coming on the show. But yeah, Kim Zolciak and also allegedly She by Sheree Honey is apparently coming back onto the show. Now, what I think is quite interesting is the fact that guess who is not coming back on the show? I'm gonna let you guess. Nene Leakes. Nene is saying they have never offered me to return. Good luck to season 19. Seasons, why did I say 19? 17 cast. We will be watching. Guys, hit that like button as you guys are listening. Hit that like button, please, and thank you. So it is very obvious that Nene ain't coming for this new season of Real Housewives of Atlanta. I know a lot of people were speculating, is Nene coming? Do we want to see Nene? But she is not returning to the Real Housewives of Atlanta. I feel like personally, I just think like, let's think about it practically. If you were in a corporate job and you accused your employer of doing all sorts of craziness, will you get offered to come back on or come back to that job? Absolutely not. So, as much as we have our personal views and preferences and we love ourselves some Nene and Nene is entertaining, I don't think anybody can take that away from Nene. The truth of the matter is, no matter what, like, it's not an ideal situation to have somebody who has sued the network back on the show like nothing happened. I'm not saying it may never happen again. It could potentially happen, but it is going to take some time, if at all it ever happens. Because I do not see any word where an employee of mine sues me and then comes back to then try to work with me or work for me. I don't see that ever happening, especially if you accuse me of crazy things like sniffing the white stuff, allegedly, right? So there is no way. So as much as I think we love Nene, would want Nene back, I want Nene back. I would love to have Nene on the show because I think she would be a wonderful addition to the show. But I just feel like maybe we need to start coming to grips with the fact that maybe the ship has sailed. Maybe the ship has sailed. Maybe the ship is never coming back. Maybe we just need to move on and consider the fact that Nene may never, ever, ever come back. And so, what are we going to do? Is it something where we're going to continue to watch the show, continue to ride for the show, or are we saying let's move on to something else? What is it? What do we decide? I don't know, but I feel like we're very much living in like the past glory days for a lot of us because we're always talking about, oh, we miss the old Real Housewives of Atlanta. And I get it because, yes, the whole Real Housewives of Atlanta was a blast. We had a good time. It was lovely. It was fun. But at the same time, the show must go on, right? And so surely it just is what it is. Now, how do you guys feel about Sheree coming back allegedly? Because I saw the story somewhere. I don't think it was covered by Bravo Shade Room. Shout out to Bravo Shade Room for putting up this about Nene. But I'm trying to find. I feel like I definitely saw it. I'm trying to show you guys, but I can't remember exactly where I saw when they said that potentially is coming back. She by Sheree is coming back. I hope finally she is going to actually like come back and give us a little something something, because I feel like the last time where she was on with Marlo, she got too involved in the shenanigans and I didn't really like it. I did not enjoy her on that season. I don't know. For me, She by Sheree has never really done it for me, but I know she does it for a lot of people. Just not my cup of tea. But, I'm never mad at anyone getting their bag. I'm just personally very, very shocked that she is the one that they are bringing back. I feel like a lot of people, like if I think about it, I feel like she by Sheree is probably the one that they keep always bringing back after a while. So I guess I don't know. Maybe someone over there at Bravo loves the heck out of She by Sheree. But hopefully we get some She by Sheree clothes in this new season. Okay, let's shift gears a little bit. It's probably not going to be a long live because I just feel like I am tired today. I think it's because it's a Friday and I'm just like it's been a long week. I want to lay up and rest up. So yes. Sorry guys. I'm practically out here yawning. Can you imagine? Craziness. But guys, please hit that like button as you guys come in. Hit that like button, please, and thank you. Okay, so I was looking for to see if they had the She by Sheree, but it looks like they don't have the She by Sheree information. But word on the street allegedly She by Sheree is coming back. Kim Zolciak is allegedly coming back. We've talked about Kim Michelle coming back, so no surprise there. I feel like if I'm not mistaken, they're going to start filming soon if they haven't already. So I guess we just have to keep our ears to the street to see if we get some more information that could be very helpful. Some tea about what the new season is looking like. I think that could be very, very helpful. Now let's shift gears a little bit to Real Housewives of Potomac. Um, Let me play this clip for you guys so you guys can see. All right,
has developed and
let me refresh this so that it starts from the scratch. So, for those of you who don't know some backstory, Monique Samuels is returning to Real Housewives of Potomac. Um, as far as we know, Monique and Wendy weren't really cool, especially because Monique and Candice were never cool or they had some beef, right? So now Wendy's been asked about Monique returning to the Real Housewives of Potomac.
I think that, for me, it's all about a new phase and like a new
Okay. I'm hoping I don't get copyrighted. I don't know if it's something that's that deep, but let me keep playing.
chapter. And I think what a lot of you guys are going to notice is that a lot of us are not in the same place where we were.
So first things first, did you notice that very diplomatic answer? She's like, I'm not telling y'all that we got beef. I'm just saying that, we're not at the same point in which we are. Life has moved on. So that when she comes on the show, people will not be expecting like Wendy to check Monique, right? Because I think sometimes that happens on shows where the person comes back and people are like, how can you let this person just waltz back into the group and you don't check her? And so I feel like she's giving us that politically correct answer so that when we see the new season, we're not going to be disappointed about, oh, she didn't check her, she didn't do this, she didn't do that. That's the impression I personally get.
And I think that that'll be interesting to see how that has developed and how that continues to develop. So buckle up.
That is very much given textbook answer. When they tell you to come in front and they ask you a question and you're just like, what's the politically correct way for me to answer this question? That is what is given. I think we'll have to wait and see what the show brings. But I would say so far, I'm not really sold. Like, I'm not really sold that Wendy is not really, I don't really think Wendy is going to check Monique, in my opinion. I think they will end up being cool on the show. This is just my perspective. And then I guess people are going to start asking, like, oh, how did Monique get away with not being checked and all of that? That's what I would say, like, my predictions would be. But I'm not one of those who watched Real Housewives of Potomac from the start. You guys know when I covered it, it was only that season I think I covered. I don't really actively watch it. So there is that. All right, so let's shift gears a little bit to Tisha. Okay. Um Tisha started, you can tell that Tisha wants to be in her YouTube bag. Tisha wants to be a wife. Tisha wants to be a woman who is getting her bag, who has multiple businesses that are successful. That is where Tisha, in my opinion, wants to get to. Now, whether or not she has the personality, the grit, the determination to get there, I guess, is still to be determined. But I think what is quite interesting is I feel like I thought it was a little bit interesting because if you guys remember, she does this t-shirts and hats and stuff that she's always wearing. Is it hats or yeah, I think I saw a t-shirt as well if I'm not mistaken. But it's the tagline is rich wife, right? And she's then like trying to clean that up a little bit and say like, oh, it's not just about money, it's rich in love and happiness and health and all of that. For me personally, I'm just like, okay, sis, whatever you say, like I could care less. But I guess she's just trying to speak to her fans, whoever they are. She does talk about the jailing storyline a little bit, and she talks about how she is glad that Maurice and Marceau came to a resolution and she just like stayed out of it and let the brothers settle it. I think that's a good decision in the sense that when people are arguing and going at it, make sure you practically, especially if it's brothers, stay out of it. Stay out of it. There is no reason. I remember I used to like get in the middle of like fights between my brothers in the past, and then I'm ending up like in the middle, almost getting pushed and shoved. So I'm just like, nah, you learn to stay out of it. Take a step back. Let if you guys want to fight, fight. That's your business. Like I'm not getting involved. You lot do what you guys want to do. Um and she does talk about Jailing has a good community of men around him that he can speak to and basically has a lot of role models. Now, she used the opportunity to try to rewrite history a little bit and tell us that we were going had Marceau back in the day saying he wasn't a good father and we're making inappropriate jokes about him. My thing is, people were not making these jokes or saying these things out of thin air. People were saying these things because allegedly, if I'm not mistaken, I have a vague recollection about something about an allergy that he didn't know his son had. There were also certain scenes where it looks like he said out of his own mouth that taking care of the children and doing certain things to do with the children was your job, Tisha, not his. So my thing is like I this is the bit I hate the most, right? When it feels like somebody is trying to rewrite history and make it seem like we all of us just are hating on somebody and we all owe him an apology. No, we do not owe him an apology. Well, I certainly do not. I don't know about anyone else because those things and my views about him stem from what he showed us on the screen. Please, guys, I can see a few of you have just come in. Please hit that like button as you guys come in. Please and thank you. Hit that like button. Hit that like button like your life depends on it, okay? Thank you so much. All right. So, back to what we were saying, right? It kind of feels like you want an apology from the fans saying that oh Marceau is a big jokester and she already knows his personality and like trying to make it seem like the rest of us were like overthinking it about our perspective about who Marceau was. My thing is in season 1 he was acting like a hey-ho. Like I can't lie. He was acting like he wanted you to be indoors, didn't care about you wanting to build yourself, wanting to network. All he did was want you to stay indoors and stay at home with the kiddies. That is what it gave the impression that it gave. It gave the impression that he was a completely hands off parent. That has nothing to do with us. We did not concoct this. We were not trying to come up with this to make you feel something. No, this is what your husband gave us in those seasons. So you now trying to rewrite history and talking about it and saying like, oh, the fans are living for Marceau now and he's the favorite husband of the show. And my thing is, yeah, the reason he's the favorite husband of the show is because all the other husbands ain't ish. And so far, he's the best of all the others, right? It's not because he's such a great husband in our perspective or from our perspective. It's just like it's like, let's say for instance the bar is so low, right? Out of how low the bar is, somebody is going to be in front, no? And that is exactly what it is. It's not a flex for you to think like, oh, he's the favorite husband of the show. It's not a flex because look at the other people that this man is around. Like Martell, let's take Martell for example, right? We all know the kind of person Martell is. Lack of accountability, a cheater. That's the kind of man he is, right? A snitch because he's throwing his friends under the bus, right? These are the things that he's done. So, of course, ain't nobody gonna choose Martell. Martell cheated on his ex-wife. Ain't nobody gonna choose Martell as the favorite husband, right? Nobody's choosing Maurice, who wanted to have sex whilst his wife had cancer. So, of course, it's not a flex that he's the favorite husband of the show. I'm just telling you that he's not exactly in the best company. So, of course, he's the lesser of the other evils. That's just what it is, in my opinion. At least that's what I think. Now, she does also talk about Miss Nell, talks about Miss Nell not being transparent, and there's some things that Miss Nell didn't want to talk about, like the whole issue with, I think, her stepdaughter. My thing is, I hear it, but so are you. There are also some things, Tisha, that you do not want to talk about. My thing is, don't play in our faces and make it seem like, oh, you're transparent. You're not. None of you on the show are transparent. That's just my perspective outside looking in, right? There's none of them that I sit down and think, oh my God, they're so transparent. Absolutely not. I think the person that was transparent was Mel. That is it. I can't even give Martell that title because I believe even in season 1, Martell didn't want the truth of his infidelity to come out. It wasn't meant to come out, right? And so that's why it felt like he crashed out. So I wouldn't even say he's transparent, but I would say he has given us a whole lot more than all of these others have given us by way of genuine storyline, in my opinion. So I just think like it's the case of the pot calling the kettle black. It's like, Tisha, you're the pot. You are the pot. You are not transparent in any way. It's funny when they used to say that with Tiffany, right? But I'm like, Tiffany never was transparent in my opinion. But so were they. They were never really transparent either, right? So it's just like a bunch of non-transparent people on the show trying to convince us that they are transparent. It's like that's not going to work. And she says Nell was basically trying to ask about the interview that Martell did, right? To try to make himself relevant. And I'm thinking, okay, so you say that Martell is not relevant, but neither are you guys, right? Like, even with everything, I can't really pinpoint and say, okay, so far, this is a really good storyline or something that I can say I've caught from the Scots, from Tisha and Marceau, for instance, right? So you say that Martell created a storyline because he was trying to make himself relevant, but I'm like, but you guys, first of all, I don't even think that made Martell relevant because how many times have we seen him in this season? We probably only saw him on 2 episodes, or maybe this last episode we saw him a little bit more, and maybe a little bit on 1 episode, right? So The rest of the cast aren't filming with Martell. So, of course, we're not going to be seeing a lot of Martell. That's just the reality of the situation. So, it's just one of those things where I'm just like, okay, so even if you're saying that Martell is using y'all to create a storyline, you guys aren't exactly relevant either. You guys aren't exactly giving us any storylines that I can pinpoint and say, okay, this is a storyline that you guys brought. And Tisha wants us to be comfortable with her and Marceau having the live video where they're out here talking and trying to address what they call the lies. But my thing is, I watched that video and it felt like a whole bunch of nothing, in my opinion. It was just like, what are you lot talking about, right? And either way, you're on a TV show. Not everybody's going to watch the lives. So I don't understand why you cannot just address it on your so-called TV show. That's the whole point. That's what they're paying you all for, to bring your story onto the show. Just because you've put it on social media does not mean that that should be it. We need to, what are the people that ain't on the YouTube streets or in these streets, Instagram, whatever socials you want to use? What are the people that don't know nothing about that, right? So it's just like, for me, it is giving me like, sis, you're just saying anything to try to make it seem like, oh, you're showing your reality, you standing your truth. Girl, it's not giving you standing your truth. It's giving you don't want certain things to come out. You want to manage what comes out, and then you're not happy about what is being put out. She did also say that, there are lots of things that were left out of that episode because producers only want you to see certain things. I don't doubt that. I think we all know that this is what production does as a whole. Please, guys, hit that like button as you guys come in. The likes are not matching the amount of people in this live. So please hit that like button as you guys come in. Um, when you hit that like button, it helps other people find us. Even if you don't like the content, hit that like or dislike button. Either one works so that other people can find our content. Please and thank you. Okay, so where did I even stop, honey? I was talking about the likes. I distracted myself for a second. Um, where did I stop? Let's see. I'm trying to check my notes just to see where I stopped. All right, let's move on because I can't remember where I stopped. All I will say is the whole Nell and Tisha business. I just feel like I said, it's going to be the whole show against Nell. That is my prediction. I feel like it is very much given that they are going to try to isolate Nell, and it's very annoying having two Scots on the show. I really wish they would remove one set of Scots. Because I feel like if they remove them, then they've removed the whole alliance, and the whole alliance where if Tisha doesn't want to talk about something, Kimmy can back her up. If Kimmy doesn't want to talk about something, Tisha can back her up. That would all crumble, and then we will have to get the real, because there's nobody out here defending the other person. There's nobody out here writing for another person. Everybody is just there, every man for himself. Guys, welcome. Please hit that like button. I can see some of you guys have joined. Hit that like button, please, and thank you. We're talking about Tisha's live, where she goes through the last episode of Love and Marriage Huntsville at the moment. Alrighty. So I personally think like they definitely have some sort of alliance going on. Um, Someone was asking her about like her relationship with Kimmy. She said that her and Kimmy are falling on and off over the years, but now they've been able to evaluate everything and they've gotten out of it and they're in a better place now. I'm not surprised. That's the impression I get. I get the impression that they've sat down and thought, do you know what, with this new season, how do we want to come across? What do we want to do? I think for a fact that they know that they have to perform if they want to continue to get the check on the show, because Melody is no longer on the show. I think when Mel was on the show, it forced them to not have to work because they could just focus on what was happening in Mel's life instead of let's focus on what's going on with our lives, right? Let's bring ourselves to the show. It's like everyone had relied on Mel and Martell for their storyline, Mel and Martell as what they are discussing and commenting on. And so I feel like now that Mel is no longer there, Martell doesn't have anyone to be having those kind of commentary with, right? And so the rest of the people are also not filming with Martell. So I feel like the Scots, this is my opinion, I'm not stressing it as a fact. As you guys can see with my banner, everything is alleged. So it feels like they all came together and was like, yo, what we gonna do? Because we need to keep this job. This is just my imagination. Maurice, we're good. We need to work. What are we gonna do to keep this job? That's the impression I get. That all of them sat and we're like, we need to have a united front. I wouldn't even be surprised if they decided to even plan this so-called conversation, right? Where it seems like Maurice and Marceau are going at each other a little bit. I wouldn't even be surprised if that was planned between them as a like, guys, we need to bring some drama to the show this season. Because I say that because for me, I get the impression that they're doing is an alliance. This is my opinion, right? Because even when you think about the girls' night, right, where Tisha and Nell were going at it, Kimi was piping up too much. And I'm like, Kimi, cool down. That ain't got nothing to do with you on the second right now. And it just felt like, she was even throwing the F word around. And I was like, girl, was it the F word or whatever? I just knew she was swearing. And I kept thinking, like, sis, why all that energy for something that you were a side point in the conversation, right? Like it wasn't all about you, but somehow you were like piping up so much. And so I kind of just felt like it's definitely giving the impression that it's going to be Miss Nell against everyone else. When I see Trish, I felt like Trish doesn't have a mouth on her. So Trish is not going to be out here riding for Nell. Let's just be clear. Trish ain't going to do that. Destiny ain't seen it for Nell, so she ain't gonna be riding for Nell. So Nell, you gonna be on an island by yourself, in my opinion, this season. That's the impression that I'm getting. I guess you will eventually learn how Melody felt being on the show and feeling like she's by herself in the castmates, around the castmates that don't really care or like her. Let's just say that. All right, let's shift gears a little bit to her addressing the scene where she went to go and confront Chris. So she talks about she doesn't need liquid courage. She can say whatever she wants to say anytime. I'm like, oh yeah, if you say so. But the thing is, there is a correlation, in my opinion, with when you pipe up and you drinking. Some correlation somewhere. She does agree here, at least, that she did drink too much and didn't realize that she did some things at the party. I hope her trying to point in their faces is one of those things, because to me, I'm just like, you had so much energy for something that you shouldn't have had that much energy for. If your husband wanted to check Chris, that's absolutely perfectly fine. But there is no reason for you to be out here practically piping up to Chris. Now, I will throw her a bone and I will say that Nell stirred that ish up. And I say that because Nell did tell her to go ask her husband and let's go talk to the men. Let's go ask him. Right? So Nell did set us up for that to happen. But at the same time, it's like, maybe Nell didn't know she was going to be on her mad one, right? And Nell probably just thought she would have a cordial, very civil conversation about it. But instead, Tisha was waived. Tisha did say her husband had told her she'd been drinking too much, but she said she was fine. And then when she watched the clip back, she wasn't happy with herself. This is why I feel like that excuse for me doesn't run, because I'm like, you're a grown ass woman, you're on a TV show. At that age, you should know where your limit is. I think these are the things you learn at 21, honey. You learn, okay, I don't mix these drinks, or I can't have more than this because I will do this, right? These are the things you learn when you're younger, not as an adult woman in her, is she 40s? In her 40s. You mean to tell me you didn't know that you had drank too much and you're at that age? To me, that's a problem, because I can't imagine my 21-year-old self. Let me even give 21 a pass, even though I feel like at that age I already knew what my limits were. But let me even say 25, right? You mean to tell me that at 25, you don't know, oh, I've been drinking too much. I need to start drinking water. I need to step it down. I'm acting out, honey. Let's go home. You should know these things, especially on TV, right? So, yeah, it is giving a little bit of liquor courage. You probably then watched it back now and you're like, oh my God, I can't believe I acted like that. But at the same time, it's like, you're a grown ass woman. You should know where your limits are when it comes to things like drinking or anything really. She then said next time she'll listen to her husband when he warns her that she's had too much to drink. How about you don't have too much to drink? Isn't that easy? Than you having to wait for somebody to have to be the one to tell you that you're drinking too much. That is absolutely wild to me. Bunny says, yes, Martell is irrelevant. Get him off national TV. Yep. Agreed, agreed, agreed. But he's not going to be sent off national TV. He's going to still be on that TV because they need him. Sadly. And I say they need him because think about everyone else on that show. Everyone else on that show are not going to give us the real. Now, that's not to say Martell gives us the real, because Martell can be as bad as them. He can be performative, right? But things slip through the cracks, right? And so people can pick that up and run with it. Hey, Lady Paul, how are you? I hope you're doing well. Both Scott's couples are irrelevant and unnecessary for any show. Absolutely. I really think that if they want to do it, keep one of them on the show. And I would vote for keeping Marceau and Tisha on the show. Not because I think Tisha is a strong one, but I think Marceau can bring the spice in that relationship. With Kimmy and Maurice, I'm just like, they both are a little Blair to me. This is just my perspective before you all come for me. I feel like with Kimmy and Maurice, I could do without them. And I feel like all of the storylines that they've given us are sex related or parenting related. And I put my hand and say I may have forgotten the others, but those are the ones that I remember. So if those are the ones that I remember, correct me if I'm wrong, guys, what more are they bringing to the show? I can't. Oh, let me add the drinking, the alleged drink and driving or whatever, and that got yeah, the alleged drink and drive, right? Maybe that could also be a storyline. Those are the only storylines. And I don't remember thinking, oh, I hated the sex storyline. I hated the drinking storyline because I just thought he wasn't taking any accountability, wasn't accepting anything. Everything was like walking on eggshells. So all of the storylines just feel contrived. They don't feel genuine. They feel like people are not being transparent. So yeah, I definitely don't think that having both of them on the show is the best way. I think they need to shake it up and have one couple on the show They can bring the others as friends of that particular couple, but I think they need to shake it up because the problem is it's the Scots versus the others, which is never good for a show. It's already unequally like balanced where the Scots have four people fighting for them. And then the others probably have just themselves, or themselves and their partner, for instance, Nell and Chris, right? So it's already unequal. So I will not be surprised if it then turns into the Scott show. The problem though is I don't think they have the personalities for it. I think Marceau is good, but Marceau also needs a worthy opponent or a worthy character, um, which I feel like Melody was. So I think Melody and Marceau were able to bounce off each other in scenes, and I feel like we haven't seen anything quite like it since Melody left the show. So I'm very curious to see how, like, moving forward the show like runs. Like, is it going to be the same things over and over again? Please hit that like button. All the new people that just came in, thank you so much for joining today. Hit that like button, please, and thank you. Or hit that dislike button if you don't want to hear what I have to say, please. Either way, it helps the algorithm. Please and thank you. Okay, so it was just like, yeah, so I'm very curious to see sort of like how they navigate the season. Are they going to give us more storylines? Are they going to give us more context? Are they going to, what exactly? What are the new things that they will give us that we have not seen before? We've had a lot of range, but we have not had the range from the Scots. We've had it from the Holts at the time, not the Scots. So it's time to put the Scots to work. Let them work for that check that they so-called want. Because I guess the show is meant to be the number one show on OWN, which means they must be getting a decent enough check. So if they're getting a decent enough check, no wonder people don't want to leave, because to them, they're just like, okay, I don't have to show my life. All I have to do is, you know, say a little something here and there. Don't have to prove nothing. Don't have to show anything. And I'm getting paid. It's a win-win. Right? So I feel like there is definitely an element of that where people are just like, I don't have to do too much. All I have to do is do this and I can basically still get paid. Um Finally, she does talk about the whole Ken situation, and she doesn't want to speak on their relationship. But she feels like she did not get why he would be saying that the guys were wrong to advise him, that when they were only saying that Trisha is still married to mkids. Now I completely agree with that. And I think Ken is just being slow, because yes, she is still married. Like, say what you want, she is still a married woman. You're the side chick or side dude, pretty much, right? And I think he can slice and dice it however he wants to. He can pretend that that's not the reality. But the reality is what the reality is. You're a side dude. That is exactly what it is. Sorry to all the parties involved. She's not, she kind of tries to claim you a little bit, but technically not really much, if we're being completely honest. Technically not really much. So, but I'm definitely very curious to see how the show pans out. I want to see if the Scots will be able to work, if the Scots are going to be able to show us more, if they're going to be able to engage and show up in the way we need them to show up, so that we can have a really good show. That would be great. Anyways, before I head out, I wanted to remind you guys about the new show, Heart and Hustle Houston. It's a really, really good show, and this is one of the shows that I've started covering. I've noticed that you guys are not yet watching it, but I wanted to share with you guys that, please, if you're listening, I want you to go over and watch the show. It's genuinely a really, really good show. And I want us to try to work at making it the number one show on OWN. Like, think about if we can make it the number one show on OWN, because so far from what we're seeing, it's well produced. The people, the girlies are working hard and doing their thing on the show. So I feel like we need to try and increase our views on that. Um like I said, I've posted something, I've posted a review about it. So if you guys can please go over there and watch the review. And let me just catch up with the chat a little bit. Joy Webb. Oh, I love that. I love that jumpsuit. Are you on holiday at the moment or something? This show started going down the drain a while ago. It went from seeing power couples having their own business to a bunch of drama. Absolutely. And I think that's the thing that I wish that they could still insert and have a balance. It's like, let's see them doing great things, and then naturally drama will come. Wherever you have people, drama will come. Absolutely always does, right? This is just something that I feel like is standard. There's never ever been a situation where I've been around people and we're getting money together or we're working hard together and drama hasn't naturally happened at certain points. There would be some sort of drama that will naturally happen. It's not something that you create, but it does happen. Joy says, yeah, it's a good show and hopefully can stay on a positive note and not go left. Absolutely agree with this. It is definitely a very wonderful show. I will say, I think that it will get to a point where there will be a lot of drama as well. But I think that if the producer stays true to making sure that there is a balance, because that is the thing, we know that drama happens naturally, right? We're not oblivious to the fact that drama does happen. But I think our big issue is, even if drama is happening, don't let the drama be like orchestrated where it looks planned. It looks like you guys are just doing it for attention. And let it be drama that naturally occurs, not drama where people are feeling like they have to perform. And I think that a lot of the shows that we have been forced to watch in the last couple of years have been like that, where um it's not really like drama that just naturally happens. It's drama that feels contrived. It's drama that feels like they're setting this up just so that they can get the scene, right? And I feel like that is where the frustration comes, frustration of the viewers, because the viewers can smell the BS. The viewers know that this ain't it. The viewers know something is odd about this. Why doesn't this feel natural? And I think if they stick to giving us a good show, without trying to perform for us, being the authentic selves and genuinely just showing who they are, then I think we'll get a really, really good show. It goes on for the whole season, the whole storyline be based on that. Yes, exactly. So I think it's just one of those things where it's like, if you can get a balance where it's like natural drama that comes across when people are hanging out and spending time together, I think we'll definitely watch. I think there's a thing about negativity. No matter how negative you are right now, I feel like people don't like a situation where it's only negativity that you're experiencing all of the time. People don't like that at all. People like a balance. Yes, some negativity, but let there be positives as well. Cause even in like imagine like even in like your daily life, right? Something may happen and then positive things happen, or positive things happen. There's a setback, you're able to transform that, you move on. But if it's just negative, 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 it's like nobody wants to watch that, because it just feels like it's not even entertaining to watch. Now it just feels like we're watching something that we shouldn't be watching, right? So yeah, I think the producers just need to understand that yes, people love drama, but give us a mixture of positives as well. It doesn't have to be drama, drama, drama. Joy says it's not reality TV, it's more like Jerry Springer. Oh, those shows are hilarious. I can't lie. There's Jerry Springer. Like, I wish it was even as good as Jerry Springer because at least we'll be out here laughing, having a kiki. But no, it's just entirely too much, too far, no balance. I don't know who the producer is of Heart and Hustle Houston, but I will say, whoever they are, you are doing an amazing job. I hope you never change because that's another thing. Because sometimes these people, man, like after they are doing such a good thing, the next thing they fall off. I really hope that never happens to whoever the producer is. Please, please do not fall off. Keep going and things will get better. Now, just before I go, uh I want to tell you guys, if I have not shared that before, um, that I do have a new um, recap of me recapping the episode. So I want you guys to please go over on my channel and pull it up and watch it. Please hit that like button. I feel like I'm not yet in the algorithm for the Heart and Hustle Houston. So if you guys can please go over there and just like, put my deets in and support your sister, I will absolutely appreciate that. um I just saw something come up that Simon has filed an appeal already. Oh my gosh. I feel like I wish, honestly, I wish Portia the best. I feel like Portia definitely chose the wrong one. Portia chose the wrong one, and I hope she doesn't spend the rest of her life regretting it. Because this man has said in his heart, has made up his mind that he is not gonna let her get away with anything. So it's very sad because I feel like I don't think I know like a lot of people really feel like, oh, Portia is this person that was sitting down and like conspiring, and I genuinely do not believe Portia is that kind of person. I think Portia gets to a point where she is in love and not really paying attention and just like running through things. But I genuinely don't really believe that that's really what it is. So yeah, let me have a quick look to see if there's anything on the neighborhood talk. Nothing on the neighborhood talk yet. Nothing that I can see. Let's keep seeing how the story develops, and then we'll come back to have a chat about it. If it's something that does come up that we need to talk about. On that note, my lovelies, thank you so much. Happy Friday. Thanks for spending your Friday with me. I really appreciate it. I hope you guys have some nice plans for the weekend. Yeah, like have fun, relax, get a massage, do something nice, and make sure you do something like that involves self-care this weekend. I think for me, I've had a long week, so I said to myself, I'm going to treat myself to some acupuncture this weekend. I'm looking forward to it. It just helps me like really relax. Good thing is I'll be doing it on Sunday, so that would also help me relax and get ready for the new week. So yeah, anyways, my lovelies, please hit that like button if you haven't already. Thank you so much for hanging with me, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you. Oh, before I go, I always say thank you to everybody in the chat. So thank you, Bunny. Thank you, Lady Pooh. Thank you, Joy, for joining and sharing your thoughts in the chat. And for the replay gang who are going to be listening to this, please let me know in the comment section what you guys think. Don't forget to like, share, hit that subscribe button, and tap that bell button right next to it so you know every single time that I post. And I'll see you guys in the next live. Thank you. Bye.